Blog Talk Radio.
Yes, you are on Real Talk Radio with your host, Destiny D, live on WTLR Radio, where we'll be talking real talk about all the current events going on around the globe. You guys ready? Well, hello, guys. This is your girl, Destiny D, live on WTLR Radio, and this is Real Talk. And today's episode is episode 2. Today's date is September 27th, 2018. Now, we had a very, very, very heavy debate on Facebook earlier in the week as far as what the hot topic of this week would be. We had a choice of either talking about Bill Cosby and his situation, the trial, the dealing with everything that has went on and transpired with his conviction, the jail time that he has been given, and all of that good stuff. And then we also had the topic of Hurricane Florence making a double pass through the same areas that it just hit. So after the poll, we ended up having a 5-4 vote where Bill ended up being the hot topic for this week. So with that being said, just want to give you guys some basic background information about Bill Cosby. You know, for those who do not know who he is actually like a major mogul when it comes to family entertainment. And he made a lot of different TV shows that actually hold a lot of weight still today. The Cosby Show was one of the shows that he had showing his family. He played the role of a doctor. He had a wife named Claire. They were the Huxtables. They had 2 girls. No, actually, I think it was 3 girls and 1 boy. Theo was the only boy, and you know, most of the children kind of grew up and moved on out of the house, but they still had that family vibe. One of the other shows that he created or had a part in was A Different World, and it was based on black college life. There were you know, different characters. I don't know whether or not if y'all remember those characters, but you had Whitley, who was the snooty high yellow girl who was in love with Dwayne Wayne, and then you had Kimberly, and you had Ron. So, I mean, if I can name off these characters, then I know that it was a very influential TV program, sitcom, pretty much. They, like I said, it just depicted their college life on campus, you know, and it was real entertainment, and it was real life situations, and, you know, it was classy. It was never trashy. And then he spilled over into the actual cartoon stages where he did Little Bill, which was a little black cartoon character, and you got to look at the different aspects of his life and his childhood. And then you also had the Fat Albert Show, which everybody know about Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. You had Dum Dum Donald, you had, you know, Fat Albert, and a few others that were in this gang. And these were wholesome shows. So at any rate, that's pretty much his background. He dealt with the cartoons, he dealt with the shows, and like I said, they were very wholesome, and, you know, it was it was at that point that he pretty much made it up in his mind to do something similar to that. Now, when you look at TV nowadays, there are no morals. there is no storyline. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll and murder. This is pretty much what they have programmed on the TV 24/7, from the news to cartoons to, regular TV shows and sitcoms. Is pretty much either talking about sex, it's either showing death, dismemberment, some kind of bodily harm. It's showing all of these negative aspects of life. Like, you hardly see anything wholesome on TV anymore. And this prompted Bill Cosby to try to bring those family values back. So this is where we get to talk about his opportunity that came up. Okay, so anybody that knows anything about Bill Cosby knows that he had money. Okay, and from my understanding, he was worth at least $300 million, at least. So with that being said, he had took it upon himself to try to buy NBC, the news station, the network. There's the article that I'm going to read so that you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. It says that Mr. Cosby was interested in making quality television shows, and that he would surround himself with good people to handle all the details of running a network. It said over the last 2 years, which is probably more than that now because this article was done in the New York Times back on October 29, 1992. Now, this is when he tried to buy it. This is the story that came up, okay? So it said over the last 2 years, there have been several rumored suitors for the NBC, most notably Paramount Communications Incorporated and Barry Diller, the former chairman of Fox Incorporated, but neither Paramount nor Mr. Diller has ever confirmed that they have tried to buy the company. It says still the rumors seem to at least have fired Mr. Cosby to try to approach him in reference to buying NBC. And he told Barry Diller and Paramount that he was very interested, and he was seriously interested about buying NBC. It says some financial analysts have suggested that General Electric probably does want to sell NBC. It says there are really only 2 or 3 options for NBC, said John Tinker, a media analyst for Furman Sales Incorporated. They can try to rebuild, but the same team is still in place, so that doesn't seem to be the plan. The other option is to sell, but then you have book value problems. So they're left to fudge in the middle, and every day NBC loses more value. And then it says, but one senior NBC executive who spoke on the condition of the station and said that Mr. Brokaw had exaggerated the seriousness of his discussions with Mr. Wright. It said Mr. Cosby's personal wealth has been estimated at about $300 million. The entertainer owns a substantial piece of The Cosby Show, his longtime comedy hit, which was produced by Carsey Werner Company and ended an 8-year run on NBC last spring. It said Mr. Brokaw pointed out that syndication sales of reruns of The Cosby Show to the local TV stations were very strong, that the show is approaching a $1 billion syndication, he said. So they had warm feelings about NBC. Then it says Mr. Brokaw characterized Mr. Cosby's interest in buying the network in personal terms as Bill has very warm feelings about NBC, he said. He got his break there almost 30 years ago in the sitcom I Spy. Then he had the most financial successful show of all times there in the 1980s. He said Mr. Cosby was interested in making quality television shows, and that he would surround himself with good people and let them handle all the details of the work. Okay, it says, let's see. Mr. Brokaw said Mr. Cosby, who was in Philadelphia yesterday taping his new syndication TV series, You Bet Your Life, would have no comment on the offer, but Brokaw denied some news report yesterday indicating that the deal was dead. This is a real story, he said. Bill authorized me to come to New York and meet with Bob Wright. And Mr. Chase said, we understand they said NBC is not for sale. What inferences you can draw from that, I'm not sure of, but in my mind, everything depends on what the seller and buyer agree upon. As it has done in the past, NBC declined to comment on the possibility that the network may be sold. But one senior NBC executive who spoke on the condition of anonymity said that they was exaggerating the seriousness of the discussion. Okay, it's also saying that Mr. Brokaw said that Mr. Cosby had held preliminary talks with a couple of individuals on being partners in the NBC takeover. Neither Brokaw nor Chase disclosed how much Mr. Cosby might be willing to pay for NBC. It said, but analysts said the asking price was likely to be about $4 billion. And it said General Electric paid $6.5 billion when it acquired the network's parent company, RCA, back in 1986. General Electric has sold off RCA's electronics division and acquired several other television properties, including the channel on cable CNBC. It says General Electric stock gained 1.125 yesterday and closed at $77.75 on a New York Stock Exchange, but Cosby had no comment. It said Mr. Brokaw said that Mr. Cosby it's rerunning. Hold on. Yeah, it says that they decided to fully pursue a deal with NBC. So, the crazy thing, like, none of this trial stuff popped up until he made the ultimate decision to buy this TV network. This is what it's all stemmed from. They knew he had the money to buy, so they had to defame him. They had to do something to make him look bad, to draw all of that money. You think about all of the lawyer fees and stuff that he has had to pay, you know, for everything that he's endured for the last few moments of these trials and things that he has had. And I'm pretty sure that they done tapped into all of the funds that he would have used to actually put this deal into place. So this is what it all stemmed from. Him trying to bring wholesome television back to the TV setting, back to the household family. There's nothing wrong with wholesome television. And apparently they saw him as a threat, and they felt it necessary that he not be able to go through with this deal and to have his money wasted on lawyer fees and to have all these trumped-up charges and things of that nature. But we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. So what I want to do right now is I want to take a short break, and we're going to come back with some more information about Bill Cosby and everything that's going on with him. So y'all hold on the line, and we're going to be right back. Yes, you are on Real Talk Radio with your host, Destiny D, live on WTLR Radio, where we'll be talking real talk about all the current events going on around the globe. You guys ready? All right, and we are back, and we are live on WTLR Radio, and today's date is September the 27th, 2018, and you are listening to Real Talk Radio. And today's hot topic is Bill Cosby and the trial, the deal that caused his crucifixion, and the falsified information that led to his conviction. So, as I stated before in the first segment, we had this poll that was going in reference to what the hot topic of the week was going to be, and Bill Cosby ended up winning that toss-up. So that's why we're talking about him at noon. So in the first segment, I pretty much broke down Bill Cosby, his background, the net worth of what he has put together, all of the TV shows and sitcoms that he has played a role in with wholesome television. And I also explained a little bit about the deal that he was trying to make with the purchase of CBS, the TV network. And a little bit after he made the offer to buy the network, that is when a lot of this stuff with this trial started stemming up. So we see that this was their way of shutting him up, making him spend that money on lawyer fees, and causing him not to be able to put, good, wholesome shows on television. So in this segment, what I want to do is I want to touch on some of the things that were discussed by his wife. She has stuck by his side during this whole entire trial, and I commend her for being there for him. I know it's not easy for a spouse to hear, these different things being said about, their other half. So she's a very strong woman, and she has endured a lot. And this next article that I found stated that she pretty much claims that the prosecutors falsified evidence during Bill's trial. So I'm going to read this article so that you can get an idea of what her thoughts were. It says that Bill Cosby's wife, Camille, has accused prosecutors of using falsified evidence to convict her husband following his sentence on this past Tuesday. The 81-year-old comedian was actually put behind bars on Tuesday after he was sentenced 10 years in state prison for drugging and assaulting Andrea Costan at his Pennsylvania home in 2004. It says Camille, who was not present in court for the two-day hearing, has stood by her husband, who she married back in 1964, since 2014, when he was accused of sexually abusing dating that decades by more than 60 women. And on Wednesday, she issued a statement claiming that they will appeal the ruling due to the prosecutor's improper conduct. It says that we now have learned and will prove that Bill Cosby was denied his right to a fair trial because the DA of Montgomery County, Kevin Steele, used falsified evidence against him, she said in a statement that she released through her husband's publicist. It says she claims that a recording of a 2005 phone call between Cosby and Costan's mother, Gina, which was allegedly recorded without his knowledge nor his consent, had been altered before it was played out in the court, according to an analyst conducted by the defense team. It said Mr. Cosby's defense team will be filing a motion seeking immediate relief for the prosecution's use of this falsified evidence, that she said in her statement. The DA's use of this falsified audio clip at trial is deeply prejudicial, yet it represents just one of the many issues that resulted in the denial of Mr. Cosby's right to a fair trial. It says that Steele responded to her statement by telling the Associated Press, if that's what they've got, it's beyond a Hail Mary, referring to the American football term, which means long, typically unsuccessful pass, made in an attempt to score late in the game. Camille previously issued a statement in support of her husband, claiming the media made it impossible for him to have a fair trial back in May, shortly after he was found guilty on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Cosby served his first full day at the State Correctional Institution, Phoenix, on Wednesday. His spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt, said he called Camille from jail that morning and an appeal is being developed. So, I think this is crazy that he has endured all of these things because he went to try to buy a TV station. And from what I gather, it's like they did his trial completely different from any other trial that I have ever seen. Normally with any regular person or regular trial or any other trial, I have noticed that there is a such thing as called a statute of limitations. That means that if you don't say something within a certain amount of time, which it could be 5 years or less or something like that, if you haven't made a grievance by then, normally the statute of limitation bars you from charging anybody or filing anything against somebody, after so many years has passed. And this is stemming back, way back. This is what, 2004 that they're saying? That's 14 years ago. I mean, some of these women are so old looking that they look like they was old when he met them. It's like the statute of limitations had then ran out, but they felt it necessary to lift that, and then they brought all this information against him. What's cracking me up is the fact that they could even do that. Normally, they don't even bother to have that, undone or lifted. So with him, it's like they made it a mission to have the statute of limitations lifted so that they could bring forth charges. Now, some of these women were actually silent, not so much in wrongdoing, but just to keep his name clear from any kind of negativity or defaming. And they paid these women, to not slander his name and stuff like that. So he came out of pocket one time already for these females that tried to say something about him. But you got 60 different women that's saying that he did these different things. Now, I'm not sure how things work nowadays, but these women, they look like they was on some stuff. The one that talking about she was mentally and physically scarred for life, she looked like a man. Anybody that looked at her would probably have to take something in order to be okay with messing with her. She looked manly. I and I know that Bill is not a desperate man. Like I said, that made no sense to me. Like you could have women that you could pay for that. I mean, come on. It's bad enough that, Camille is dealing with this whole ordeal. But even if it was, some married men do have, mistresses on the side. We get that. Some men is just dogs. I mean, to the point to where they're not satisfied with what they got at home. True enough. Most men that step out on their wife, they either have a mistress that's a willing participant that knows that he's married, or either it's some side piece that he paid for. Like, he wouldn't have had to drug them to deal with them. Hell, they would have to take something, or he would have to take something or get drunk in order to deal with them. Like, I'm pretty sure that his taste was a whole lot better than that. You look at the women that he has had around him. You look at Camille. You look at Felicia Rashad. These are beautiful black women. And you notice that most of the women that came forward were white. Like, I don't even understand that. Like, how could you surround yourself with so much beautiful black women, but yet you're gonna drug and sexually assault some ratchet-looking, scraggly-looking white lady? That just don't make sense to me. And then she talking about she physically and mentally scarred. She don't look like it. She didn't look like it. Them pictures and stuff that I saw of her, she looked perfectly fine. She looked like she was good with spending money. She looked like there was nothing wrong with what she got as far as in her pocket. Like, I don't see how people are not seeing this. But at the end of the day, my thoughts on the whole subject, I just hope and pray that nothing happens to him while he's incarcerated. I hope and pray that, if there are any people who feel some type of way, then, you can only express your opinion because everybody got one. But like I said, at the end of the day, when you're looking at the whole scope of things, I think that the judicial system is sideways, and it's all shifted towards the downfall of the black man, and the white man being all right in the whole situation because everything is catered to him, and everybody is looking for them to be all right with the situation. Like, I'm gonna have to take a break and come back, y'all, because what I want to go into is some of the other cases that are out here where other men who have been in similar or worse situations that actually have evidence pointed against them, which Bill didn't, but that actually have evidence against them. They have confessed with their own mouth of the things that they've done, yet they have not served one day in jail. So when we come back, we're going to talk about them.
It's not too late. Let's stop and celebrate. Cause time's moving on, and with the music goes, we're gonna be tomorrow. Oh, that was a time when the music made the song, the lyrics spoke of love, right and wrong. And when falling in love, you can use the words from any love song and say them to the one that you wanted to call your own. Music gave people life, defused the biggest fights, and helped a lot of men find their wives. And no matter where the needle was placed, that record had something to say that related to someone's life that day. Let's celebrate. It's not too late. Not too late. Let's stop and celebrate music today. Because time's moving on.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Talk Radio on WTLR Network. Today's date is September 27th, and tonight's hot topic is Bill Cosby, the trial, the deal that causes crucifixion, and the falsified information that led to his conviction. Now, we have been discussing, like in the first half, that, who Bill Cosby is, his net worth, everything that he has, played a role in as far as the projects, TV shows, sitcoms, things of that nature that he has had a part in, the cartoons and stuff that's been on CBS for so very long, even to the point that the reruns even get playback. And we also discussed the partial part of how Camille is trying to stand on his behalf when it comes down to their appeal against the conviction that he just received, and also stemming from some information that was falsified. Apparently, the district attorney pretty much had a recording, supposedly, of Bill Cosby speaking to the supposed person that he assaulted or whatnot's mother, which they pretty much have ruled it as being a false recording. I mean, because now you look at how things are done. Anybody can record their voice. Anybody can take certain words and play them back in a fashion to where it sounds like it's an actual conversation, but it's actually just words separated that's put into a sentence format. I have seen it multiple times. I've even seen it to where they have taken President Obama's voice and took individual words from different campaigns and speeches that he's made and had him singing Uptown by Bruno Mars. I mean, word for word. So, anything is easy to be done nowadays when it comes to technology, digital recordings and things of that nature, because nobody can honestly say that they know 100% sure that that was a actual recording, unless it was something that was on like a landline, voicemail or something like that. But even being that, like, how can you go through the whole rigmarole of trying to date back a phone call back in 2004? Like, who does that unless they really trying to convict you? I wanted to touch base on some of the other people who are, I wouldn't say in a similar situation, because these people that I'm about to mention have actually told on themselves, have actually said that they have done these different acts, and they have not received not one day in jail or prison for anything that they have voiced vocally that they have done wrong. And I'm not nitpicking, but just to be on the real. Y'all president, Trump, Donald Trump, okay, there has been video, there has been audio. He has said it out his own mouth. You know, these women will let you do any and everything to them. All you really need is a tic-tac if you want to kiss them in the mouth. And he talking about grabbing females by the pussy. And y'all all right with that. Like, y'all okay with having a sexual predator as a president. And he's actually voiced these things to y'all. Like, he's literally came out and said these things. These is not, what I just said is not something that I phantom up in my mind. It's not something that was on the Vine or, you know, something that was falsified and put together. This was actual statements running off of his lips about what he could do to women whenever he saw fit because of who he was. This man has no morals at all. Like, not only is he a sexual predator, but he has never had a company that was legit. If you look at his whole background, as far as any business deal that he has ever had, he has never did a legit deal, even down to the college, the Trump University that he put together. He had all of them people paying tuition and stuff like that for a school that didn't even exist. And then once the students and everything arrived to the particular location that the school was supposed to be in and realized that there was no school and everybody wanted their money back, he decided to settle out of court for a third of what he got from everybody that was trying to attend the college. That's not a business deal, y'all. That's robbery. Anytime you charging people $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 and you say I give you 10 back, he made $60,000. That's not a boss move. That's stealing. Because if you don't have a school, how you gonna charge people for something you ain't got? And none of the kids would have known that there was no college if they hadn't tried to go to sign up for classes. Like, who does that? Y'all voted this fool in. Not now one of his businesses is thriving. All of them have bankrupted. But he has settled out of court to where he pockets some of the bread. And then he got his daughter in the White House getting money. She done come up off a couple of mil just by being in the White House for a short period of time. Like, they funneling money. They ain't thinking about no presidency. They're not thinking about the people. We've had more people die this year than the last 3-4 years combined. Like, there's no reign on no platform when it comes to the police department. They vigilante at this point. They just murking people whenever they see fit. If they fit a description, or they don't look right, or they riding while black, or they walking while black, shoot them. That's what they've been taught. That's all they've been taught. So it's like, this is y'all president. A sideways, half-tail businessman who say he a businessman, but at the end of the day, ain't none of his businesses thrive. He just stole money from people. And not only that, he's a sexual predator. He grabbing women by the coochie. He kissing them in the mouth because he can do it. And y'all all right with that. I just don't understand it. And then you got Charlie Sheen. Oh, my God. Like, Charlie Sheen, he got sexual diseases that cannot be cured. And he is still sleeping with women. He's passing these diseases to women and not even caring. I mean, they put him on house arrest, but when he was on house arrest, he did a Fiat commercial, was still getting paid. Now he on 2.5 Men. He got his own show again, like nothing ever happened. And he's still passing along sexually transmitted diseases. He's still showing himself as a sex object on that show, dating women on the actual sitcom, and they're not doing anything to him. And pretty much everybody knows that he's tainted, that he got a sexual disease. Still dealing with them. And he's still making money. He's still doing what he's doing. Now, I will tell you this. There's only one so far that I have seen that looks like they're threatening to give time to, and that's Weinstein. And I read in the article not too long ago that they're looking to give him a life term for whatever sexual deviance that he did. So, you know, if he does get time, that he would be like an exception to the rule, because there's like over 8 to 10 men that are currently on trial or dealing with allegations. Like, look at all of the congressmen and Supreme Court justices that have had to back out of their campaigns because of all of the allegations that have come forth about them being sexual predators and deviants. That is crazy that these are the people who are supposed to be leading the country and they have no moral compass. But y'all are voting them in and y'all are okay with what they're doing. Now, I give it to you that y'all trying to do something against the ones that you know have done wrong. But there's a lot of them that have not seen not one day in jail, no reprimand. They got 90-year-old guy who raped a 5-year-old child and he got 30 days of house arrest. Who does that? You got cardinals in the Vatican or in the Catholic churches that's sodomizing little boys, and all they got to do is step down as a priest, and it's all washed away. They don't have to worry about no charges or nothing like that. They just give up their label as a role as being a priest, and the rest will be swept under the rug. What about the little boy? You don't rape this little boy. He's going to be scarred for life. This is something that you can't, like, give therapy for. This is something that you can't wash away. You can't erase memories of this thing. You know what I'm saying? This is like a life-changing incident that a child will never, ever forget. You sodomizing. You taking advantage of a young boy who is not supposed to be playing the role as no grown man's lover. No, it's wrong. And you supposed to be a man of God, and you wrong. But you're not convicted of it being wrong. Like, I watched this guy on TV today. He was a priest. He had the nerve to say he didn't know that having sex with children was wrong. You a priest. You are a priest. How are you not supposed to know, or you didn't realize that having sex with children was wrong? Why? Was you conditioned to do it? Was it something that they said is an obligation for you to do? Is it a ritual for you to do? Who does that? Who sits there and co-signs that each bishop, each cardinal that come through the door have to go through a rite of passage to where they have to take the virginity of a little boy? Because you notice that most of the Catholic Church people who have gotten hemmed up, they ain't raping little girls. They sodomizing boys. These are your boys that's going to these private schools, these Catholic schools, and stuff like that, that's getting raped by grown, old, fugly men that say they don't know better, but they know better. But y'all all right with that. I don't get it. But we're going to be right back. All right, guys. You are live on WTLR Network, and this is Real Talk Radio with your girl Destiny B. And today's date is September the 27th, 2018. And we are talking about tonight's hot topic, which is Bill Cosby, the trial, the deal that caused his crucifixion, and the falsified information that led to his conviction. So, we have discussed multiple things when it comes to Bill Cosby, and, we dealt with his background. We dealt with the sitcoms and the cartoons that he had that were wholesome, family valued shows. When it comes to the Cosby Show, when it comes to A Different World, you had Little Bill, and you had the Fat Albert Show and all of that stuff. Those were wholesome shows, and it was his idea, or it was laid on his heart, to purchase in CBS network. In him venturing into this realm of trying to purchase the TV company, all of these things have taken place and transpired to the point to where he's pretty much spent his money in lawyer fees, I'm sure. There's no deal on the table for him to get that network anymore, and he's been on trial for some time now. It's a good thing that his wife is still by his side. She's fighting for him. She's fighting to have an appeal because she has noted that the DA that was against him used falsified information as far as a fraudulent recorded call that supposedly was used to convict him of the charge that he has received. Now, from my understanding, he has already been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. As of yesterday afternoon, he has been put in lockup. So he is officially in prison at this time. Like I said, they're working on an appeal due to some of the things that was brought to their attention as far as false information that was given and led to his arrest and conviction. And, right now I just want to extend, just my heartfelt wishes that nothing happens to him while he's incarcerated, that, if indeed these falsified information items that they have used to convict him get returned and he gets released from the state penitentiary, then I know it won't make up for the time that he's been put in, the defamation that he has taken and endured. It can never be, taken back. This is something that is going to affect him for the remainder of his life. This man is 81 years old. These are his golden years. These are the years that he's supposed to be retired, laid back, and everything. Like he even said with the deal that he was trying to put together, he just wanted to fund it and let somebody else run it. He had no intentions of being the face of the company. He just wanted to be the backbone of it. And, these people have taken it upon themselves to drag him slap through the mud. And I've seen so many different reviews when it comes to different people on Facebook talking about, well, that's what he gets for doing what he did, and he deserved whatever he got. And then you got some that's like, well, hopefully he don't die in prison because he's on his last leg and all this other stuff. And then you have others who are saying it's just a complete conspiracy, that these people are setting him up to take the fall for something that he shouldn't even be getting time for, and things of that nature, because they've made all of these allegations, but there's no proof. I've never seen a case where they was able to charge you with it. Well, yes, I take that back. There is a case that's currently pending right now that's 8 years old. This young man has been put in prison for 8 years for a crime he never committed. And the crazy thing is, they have video tape at the local hospital proving that he was not in the place that the altercation or whatever the crime was that took place. He was at the hospital on camera at their facility. So he couldn't have been at the place where the crime took place because he was literally on camera. But somehow the DA was able to exclude the video. I don't know how, but they excluded the video, and this man has been serving 8 years in prison for a crime he never committed. And I feel like this judicial system is totally messed up. Like, there's no order to it at all. And I'm starting to see where some of them are being dealt with. So that's indeed a blessing. So all of these corrupt judges and lawyers and things of that nature, your time is up. Your time is being punched out. Your clock is being punched out because they're starting to file charges against you guys. They're starting to impeach you guys. They're starting to get, things settled to where you're going to pay for all of the lies you told and things of that nature. Because, a whole lot of old folks say a lawyer ain't nothing but a liar. You just pay him good. But, with those things being said, I just wish the Cosby family the best. I send my love to Camille and Bill during this time because I know it's very hard and heart-wrenching to be in a situation that he's in. But prayerfully they'll be able to fight this this thing, and the truth will be revealed and things will be fixed to where he can go home to be with his wife. And so that's just my take on the story. If you enjoyed the show tonight, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Facebook. My tag is Authoress, that's AUTHORESS, Destiny, DESTINEE, Divine, DEVINE. And you can hit me up on Facebook if you feel some type of way about the show tonight. That's fine. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments. I have a post and everything about Bill on my timeline. If you feel some type of way, feel free to drop, your thoughts and stuff like that. I love to go back and forth. And, 1 week that you're available and it's a hot topic that, you would like to put your 2 cents in on, feel free to call in. The number is 646-787-8181. We encourage you to call. We can go back and forth with a debate. It doesn't really matter to me because my views are my views. Your views are yours. But if you want to let yours be known to the world, the best thing to do, call in and let me know. Holler at me. I don't mind, going back and forth because, that way things can be dealt with, things can be said, things can be talked about. A lot of people don't talk about nothing. It's like action, 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 action. And then they regretful about what they physically did, and then when things could have just been hashed out, talked out, and stuff like that. I encourage anybody to give me a call. Like, I'm not scared. I can go back and forth with anybody. But that's today's show as far as Bill is concerned. We're going to come back next week, same time, same place. We're going to be discussing at least another topic. What I'm going to do is on my Facebook timeline is I'm going to put out a poll, and I'm going to allow you, the audience, to choose what the topic is going to be for next Thursday. So until next time, we'll see you around, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Real Talk. Yes, you are on Real Talk Radio with your host, Destiny D, live on WTLR Radio, where we'll be talking real talk about all the current events going on around the globe. You guys ready?